Alright, we're just going to take a look at the motors and servos and stuff like that on these the cheap foam board wings. I've had quite a few people asking me about what motors to use, what servos to use, that kind of stuff. What props do I use? That kind of stuff. Now, I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but this is what's been working well for me. So I'm just going to show you the two motors that seem to be working quite well and the props. Okay. That's just a close-up view of the motor that's on my wing. It's the one I prefer. It's a nice little motor. There's another option that the guys have been using. I haven't used it yet, but I do have one to try. It's this motor, which is a I don't have the exact number, but it's the replacement motor for the AXN cloud floater. There's a few guys in the club that are using these and having quite good luck with them. I've put a prop saver on here. You don't necessarily need one, but I just run a prop saver. So that's two options for motors you can use. They're about the same size, I guess, if you know, dimension wise. This one's a bigger motor. It's a heavier, it's about actually I haven't weighed it, but it's probably 10 grams heavier than this one, something like that maybe. But it also has it's capable of higher watts. This one is pretty much maxed out with a 6.4, and this one still has lots to go with a 6.4. You could push it a lot harder than that. Again, the airplane is so simple that it's pretty self-explanatory. These servos here are Hobby King servos. I usually use just the 9-gram Hobby King servos. Okay, those are the servos that I'm running on my UFO wing. They're just Hobby King orange servos. I have used the 9-gram Hobby King servos, and they work good, the blue ones. Pretty much any 9-gram servo will work just great on these things. And they don't... just the speed control. The speed control is... this is just an old one I had kicking around. I believe it's a 25 amp speed control. So, I mean, it's not that important as long as the speed control is big enough. This particular motor is rated up to 35 amps of draw on 3S. So this 6.4 prop only takes it to about between 20 and 25 amps. So if you had a appropriate speed control and an appropriate battery, you could push it a lot harder. Anyways, now I run a 6.4 prop on these motors, the 2200 kV motors. The motor doesn't even get warm. It handles them really well, and the plane's plenty fast. I mean, it could go faster, but it's this UFO wing's plenty fast. The reason why I've chosen this, just people have asked me that too, why don't I run a bigger prop, is because this airframe has no carbon fiber in it. There's no reinforcements at all other than foam board. So if you start cutting a bigger hole, so if you went, that's a 6-inch, if you went to, you could get away with probably a 7-inch prop. Because if you cut for a 7-inch prop, you got to cut probably an 8-inch hole. You know, if you went to an 8-inch prop, you got to go to a 9-inch hole. And basically you're cutting the airframe in half by cutting the big hole. I guess you could mount the motor right up on the nose and have it as a tractor set up. It would work. It's probably not my preference, but one day I think I'm going to try it because I've had enough people ask me about putting a tractor setup on it. Anyways, little piece of plywood that's cut and glued right into the foam board. This white piece right here is just another foam board piece that's hot glued to this edge and glued into here. And this has been on all summer, and as you can see, it's perfectly tight. It's got hundreds of flights on it. So that's about all there is to it. I've had guys ask about the height of the fins. Now, I'll just tell you what these ones are. These ones are right to the very tip, are 4.5 inches to the very tip. They're about 3.25 at the front, and from the very nose to that point would probably be about 7.25 long. So I wouldn't go any bigger than this. You definitely could go smaller. I like them a little taller. I think it tracks a little bit better in the wind, and it gives you a visual reference, because these things, the side area, as you can see, they're pretty small, and those fins make a big difference. So you can see them, you know, as you're flying around and banking and stuff like that. It makes quite a bit of difference. So anyways, that's it for this video. So again, if you guys like these videos that I put out, give me a thumbs up, lets me know that you want to see more. If you got questions, let me know. This one's just kind of help out a few people that are not sure what motor and that kind of stuff to put on there. And this is what I use, and it seems to work. Alright, thanks a lot.